Are you bringing this Latino energy to the character, or it's just you?
No, yeah, no. This character is actually. I try to do that in every role. I think you got to bring in a part of you. That's the way to stay grounded, right? No matter what kind of role you're playing, maybe you don't agree with some of the the characters' ethics or morals, depending on what you're doing. But you always bring a side of you so that you fall in love with the character, no matter what. And yeah, this character, it's great because it's arrogant and uses humor to deflect from things, and yeah, I'm very much like this character. Yeah, yeah.
I'm watching you, and I can't stop thinking about the cowboy from Halcones Galácticos.
Oh yeah.
It's the same.
What are they? Silverhawks.
Silverhawks.
The cowboy from Silverhawks. Yeah, I love that cartoon. With the kid in the end that was learning.
Yeah.
Remember the kid in the end? The kid at the end would always teach him a lesson. Mm-hmm. Did you know that Saturn is one of? Yeah, I love that cartoon.
And the press,
Hey, Carol.
Did they get all the secrets out of you while I was gone?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah.
So John's quite. What is he? He's a military pilot in the original series. Or?
Yes.
So is this a very different take to that?
Yes, here he's a blue collar. And I guess you could say that military personnel are pretty, right? We consider blue collar, right? Yeah, he's a blue collar. He's a mechanic. He's a worker bee, and yeah, just do this, fix that. Okay, done. Go home. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
How do you end up with the family, with the Robsons?
So I'm looking to get away as well. When all the commotion is happening in the Resolute, I'm looking for a way out. And Dr. Smith shows up, and she invites me into her ship, because she says that it's convenient to have a mechanic around. And we crash on the same planet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there any animosity between the blue-collar workers and the upper class that are on the Jupiters?
No, there's no animosity. It's just there's no animosity. It's not necessarily it's not necessarily like they're lower class and they're upper class. I think it's just everybody's working together on a similar mission too. And, everybody's aware of the situation, and you have the ones who are scientists and you have the ones that you need because they got to fix stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty equal. It's just different jobs.
Well, even being a mechanic on a ship like the Resolute, I would assume that would be a very complicated...
A super complicated and super useful thing. Especially Dr. Smith, given all her treachery and all her deceitfulness, if she didn't think that he was really, really super useful, she probably wouldn't want him in there. Because, right, she wants to escape and do it on her own. So she invites him over because he's very, very useful.
Useful as a mechanic or useful in
useful as a mechanic,
way?
Handy. Yeah, she probably doesn't know much about these ships, and when it's chaotic and these guys are trained for that. These guys are trained in those machines. They're the only ones who really know the inside and out.
Go ahead.
What's his relationship? What's his relationship like with John and the rest of the family then?
Well,
they go on?
I think Don is just about survival and looking out for himself. It's not about making a special connection. It's if you're useful to me in the moment, great, come here. It's about being effective and getting the job done. So, yes, he still keeps that arrogance, but he keeps that with everybody that he meets. In the end, it's all about his own getting his way and surviving and selling his booze and going back home. Simple as that. Not going back home, actually, going to Alpha Centauri.
As we saw some of the production design for the robot and the robot's ship with the gyrosphere. As a mechanic that has dealt with just Earth technology, do you have any kind of relationship with Will's robot friend where you're let me take you apart and see how you work, or are you get away from me? Creeping
no, I have.
On that just a bit, just because there's quite a bit of intricacy
see about that I think we want to be careful that we're not revealing?
Oh, I wasn't gonna. I was just gonna say that I run into the robot way into the show, and I'm shocked that what the hell is this thing, and that's it. Again, part of that basic, I think Don has seen quite a bit in his life. So seeing a robot, yes, it's shocking, but it's like, okay, there's a robot. I'm just gonna look out for that thing. Probably don't trust it, but there's no more analysis or deep thing into it. It's
What's his relationship with the kids like?
Well, I haven't. I've met the kids briefly, and then my only interactions with Judy.
I'm sure her parents love that.
Yes. You talking about the Robinsons or
Yeah,
Taylor's parents?
both.
Yeah, so, she just happens to be a doctor. Don rescues Angela and needs a doctor for Angela, and Judy's a doctor apparently, even though she's young. And but that's what it is. It's you're a doctor. Do your doctor thing, make it work. Yeah. It's not that there's no. Of course there's depth to a character, but with him it's all about survival and effectiveness, and it's not about making any special connection. It's about getting it done. What's
He's
that?
the Han Solo of the group. Like
Oh
beginning
yeah.
Han Solo.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I see him a lot like Han Solo and Star-Lord, but without the body and the money. It's more of the dad body version.
But you're still working on this huge production. How does it feel? Boludo, estás acá, es enorme.
Yeah. I can't, I could talk about that forever because this production, it's not even about, besides the fact that it's a giant show, but I watched it in Argentina and when I grew up in the 80s, the reruns, they were dubbed, but I was a gigantic fan of Guy Williams because he did Zorro, and that's my favorite show. So I just wanted to see him in something else. But it's also, listen, the minute I got into America, to me, that was it. I won. So anything after that, I thought as a bonus. So the fact that I'm here and this show specifically in this time of my life has really saved my life, literally. The crew, the cast, and the environment, and just the magnitude of what we're doing. So it's super, super special. No matter what happens, it has really saved my life, literally. I won't get into detail with that because then it's going to get too emotional. But yeah, it's gonna live with me forever, and more than any other thing that I've ever done. Not taking away that other shows have been super special, but this just came at the right moment in my life, and it was just with the right people. So yeah.
Are you a big sci-fi fan yourself?
Sci-fi is more like space stuff, right? I still don't know what sci-fi. What's the proper definition of science fiction? Because
futuristic hard science, so like Star Trek.
Yes,
or
so it's
Battlestar Galactica.
Futuristic.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I used to watch V as well.
Yeah.
But the older
That's
one.
sci-fi, yeah.
The other one.
The woman eating the rat, like that haunted me for years.
Yeah, me too.
This is probably the show, the sci-fi show that I really like because of the family element. So I never watched Star Trek. I watched Star Wars properly for the first time in English a year ago. All of them.
Never too late to start.
No, exactly. I was getting a lot of crap from people. So, and my excuse is always, listen, I haven't been in America that long. I'm catching up.
Wait, which order did you watch them in?
I went 7 to 2 to 9. No, I'm kidding. I did. What's the first one? New Hope.
Yeah. So you
Oh,
did
got it right.
original trilogy and then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I did the original
You
trilogy.
did it the right way.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I've heard.
It's kind of a religion here.
Yeah, no. I get it. No. So that's yeah. In terms of sci-fi, that was it. I always liked heroes that I could relate to. That's why Zorro was such a huge influence on me.
Do you have the chance to do a lot of action on this one?
Yes. Yeah, so much, and I love it, and I love being exhausted at the end of the day and having dirt
What kind of actions, like running or fighting?
Running, falling, fighting, crawling out of a tilted cockpit with a lot of gear on and pulling Dr. Smith up, and the next day waking up all bruised but feeling incredible.
So you made all of your stunts?
In terms of all the close-up stuff that we've done so far, yes, because I usually, I work with the stunt coordinator, and I think the stunt guys should always come in, and they show me, and I love having them there, because if I feel like I could do it, I've always been very physical. I've done martial arts, and while I still can do it, and when it's so tight, I like to do it myself, so that it looks good, and so that there's no, you can tell. But always having the stunt guys around, because I like to have that second eye, and they can tell me, well, do this fall a little better, and so yeah, and I love that. I'm an adrenaline junkie, like big time, outside of work. So yeah.
You were saying you watched the original show in the 80s when it was repeated.
Yes.
And that was quite goofy at times, quite campy. I'm assuming this is quite different in terms of the mix of drama and comedy and what the tone of it is. How would you describe that?
I would say that it's like an action. It's not dramatic. It's an action. It's a thriller. It's a thriller. There are elements of comedy, especially from Don and Dr. Smith, who kind of alleviate, and Dr. Smith with her treachery. It's just brilliant. It's funny because you go, oh, this horrible person, but you love her, and Don, because in the worst of situations, and while other people are trying to survive, he just cracks jokes, and so yeah, and it's not a drama, but it's a thriller. There's so many cliffhangers, and it's an amazing adventure. It's such a good adventure.
Parker told us before that her character, Dr. Smith, was a survivor also.
Uh-huh.
That makes both of your characters perfect allies.
Well, that's they're so similar. They're very, very similar, and they don't really know much about each other. I think that because both of them are survivors, when you have that survivor mentality, when you're a lone wolf, you are actually you're very guarded, you're very protected, you don't give in to people, you don't trust people, you don't show a lot of yourself. I think that's why with Don, a lot of the comedy, when you do comedy, when you make jokes when you don't really want to express how you feel. And Dr. Smith is also a survivor, so they both, they don't know this about each other. They get a sense that they're loners. But again, in the beginning, when Don is stuck with Smith, it's about survivor. So it's like, okay, she's here, grab a bag, because there's no one else to grab it, so you take it. But yeah, they're very, very similar, actually. Very similar.
You were speaking earlier about Don makes booze, and you said that earlier. I'm not sure if you meant that literally, but what do you make booze out of on? No,
he's a smuggler, but he contrabands. He grab, whatever he can get his hands on and sell it, he'll do it. He has some booze. He wonders if there's a little piece of disgusting monster residue, if that's profitable. So anything that he can profit from, he'll take advantage.
What's considered contraband in this future? Booze altogether, or certain?
Well, I think anything you take without permission. So for him, it's everything. Anything you're not supposed to, like the stuff that I stolen from the show. That's not going on the record.
She's on her phone, it's fine.
So the show is set in 40 years in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how's the race thing plays into the whole aspect of the show? Like, in Star Trek, they say that there is no such thing as the difference between races and gender. What about this show? Like,
oh, everyone is everyone in this show. Everyone's just a survivor. It reminds me a lot of Vancouver in terms of how people are treated like equals.
Right.
And it's just a train full of Canadians. It's not, oh, there's the Indian people and there's the Latino people. It's just, you're here, you're Canadian. You're there, you're on this planet, you're a survivor. And it doesn't matter what shape or color you are.
but
The way it should be, right?
yeah. It's some hope for us.
I mean, look at this table, right? Seriously.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
right now we're living, in some parts of the world that we are not seeing this kind of things.
Sure. Hopefully our show can shine some light and show that when it comes to when you're in a place of discomfort and you survive, it's about survivor. Humans, we go back to our true core, which is survivor, love, and just the joy to live. And you just, whoever's around you, you hang on to them. And I travel a lot. I do a lot of backpacking, and I see a lot of people. When you're a minority, and this is not a race, minority being when you're a minority of whether you ride motorcycles or you're a backpacker, you find each other and you cling on to each other, and you don't talk about, oh, so wait, where are you from? Or, it's more about, oh, okay, so I see someone with a backpack, great, I'm going to hang on, let's travel together. And all that crap and all the judgment and all the, what do you do, how much, all that goes away. Because you're all in one mission. It's, okay, we got to get to that place and survive. And that's just humans in general. We, unfortunately, we get distracted by a lot of this and a lot of other stuff that's not real. But in reality, we're all survivors. And we all share very few things that we all have in common no matter where you're from, like grief and survivor. That's just, you have something in common, and everything else just goes away. Everything else just becomes,
Everything that, like, the show is based on the Robinsons, but we've seen, there's other side characters, like other families that eventually filter in. But, we know this, why the scientists are going to Alpha Centauri. We know all this. Like, does Don have family he left behind? Or is it, like, what makes a person, like a mechanic, get on a ship and be like, I'm going to another galaxy and I'm never coming back?
I think none of this is honestly established. But for me, I always thought about it that he doesn't have any family left. And, it's funny because I'm in a similar place in my life. I do have my family. But you move around because the idea of settling scares you, or because you have no attachment to anywhere. So you keep moving around, you keep moving forward, and you're searching for something. It's weird because it looks like you're a free spirit, but I feel like you're trapped because you're really searching for something. And I think that with Don, that's what it is. I think he is searching for connection and for a new family. But sometimes you just keep going forward so much, and you don't take the time to stop and be like, well, maybe these guys can be your new family, Yeah. But when you have loss, you stop. Sometimes you just stop trusting, and you're scared of getting attached to someone, the fear of losing them again. And I think that's where that comes from with Don.
When did you come aboard? Early in the process, or when did you came on board
this project?
Yeah.
Do you remember? Early December, when I finally got cast. I think it was early December.
Yeah.
I think it was December, like mid-December. I was here doing another show, and I got
was it a long casting process? You had to...
No, this was. I did. I was in LA when I auditioned for John Papsidera, and it was on tape. I was like, ooh, they're doing Lost in Space, and I was like, Don West, and I mean, I read it, and I'm like, holy crap, this character is me, and I just hope that they'll be open enough to be racially diverse. So I did the tape, and I said, okay, great, and came here and did another show, and they called me and said, hey, the producers and the writers want to see you in LA, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm here. Well, but they'll take care of it. They'll fly you out. And I went, oof, that's too good to be true. They either really want me, or they do that with everybody. Like, that was my thing. And I said, okay, let's not make a big deal of it. And I went in the room, and, I just had fun. I made it my room. I moved crap around. They're like, whenever you're ready, I go, okay, let me move this. And I just did whatever the hell I wanted. And had so much fun. And I improvised, and they let me improvise, even though it wasn't, I just kept going. And it was amazing. The whole process was, these guys... I noticed they've known what they wanted. Their vision has been so clear for so long. When we started working, I'm like, wow, these guys really know to the T exactly why such line was written and why. And I think it was the same with casting. They had an idea of what they wanted each character to be. And they met us and went, done. Done. It fit, you fit, and that's it. Sometimes you go in and they bring you in 7 times, and you're like, you have no idea what you're doing, clearly.
Yeah.
And they knew, and I loved that. And that really motivated me, because I go, great, these are people who know what the hell they're doing. There's not going to be any weird hierarchical, problems. Everybody's giddy about it. Everybody's childish because it's such a great show. So I'm like, yeah, let's do this. I'm bored.